Favorite sports movie would have to be Rocky, no doubt about it. It's funny because we actually discussed this on my Saturday night show, or Saturday afternoon show rather. And obviously Rocky being the Philadelphia warrior that we all love. But number two, it's a great story. There's a reason why Rocky won an Oscar, if you ask me, because the writing, the story of a guy who was down on his luck from a tough part of the city, ends up making it. You know, he's a great guy. It's not just an action movie. See, if you ask me, Rocky 3, 4, 5 are garbage. They're not garbage, I shouldn't say that. 3 and 4 are very good. They're action movies. 5 is garbage. They're action movies. That's actually a story. So I'll go Rocky, just barely over Hoosiers. People probably think I'm going to say Rudy, by the way. I'm not.
Favorite sports movie would have to be Rudy. And I know people are going to rip me for that and criticize me and say, oh, it's got to be like 20th on the list. But if you think about it, here's a guy, and I'm not a Notre Dame fan, trust me. Our buddy Tom Byrne, he's a big Irish guy. I root for Alabama. Can't stand Notre Dame. But the story behind it, even though it's doctored up and it's been spruced up and it's not 100% true, great story. I'm a football guy first and foremost, so it goes above all the baseball movies that I like, including Major League. But the story about it, a kid who just, all he wanted to do was run out in that tunnel at Notre Dame and play for the Irish. Everything he had to go through just to get one snap in his senior year, to me, that is hands down the best sports movie of all time. Feel free to criticize on the Tony Roney text board. Feel free to rip me on Facebook and Twitter for it. But the best sports movie is Rudy's. Let the ripping begin.
My favorite sports movie of all time, without question, it's The Natural. What a beautiful movie. It's a little far-fetched, it's a little dreamy, but let me tell you something. When Roy Hobbs steps up there to the plate, before he hits that game-winning home run, with that gash on his side, the blood, he just gets out of the women's hospital and he hits the home run, and then you hear the music. Da 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 da. Let me tell you something. I'm a man, I'm not afraid to admit that when he hits that home run and all the sparks come flying down and it's getting dark and he's running around the bases, he's about to be mobbed by his teammates, a tear comes to my eye. Yes, call me sentimental. I don't cry at any other movie. The Natural makes me weep. Without question, the #1 sports movie of all time.
My favorite sports movie would undoubtedly be Rocky 1. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's definitely in my top 10 overall movies. So definitely it's the #1 sports movie to me. And even though it's boxing, which really isn't the biggest sport these days, it's just the whole underdog story just really grabs you. It's one of those movies, when you're flipping around the dial and it's on, you have to stop and watch 20 minutes of it. You can't miss Rocky 1. The underdog story brings you to tears. And plus, it's Philadelphia.
My favorite sports movie is probably The Natural, just because I'm a huge baseball fan and it has a really good story to it. My favorite football movie, so I guess second, would be The Longest Yard, just because it's so ridiculous and a great comedy.
Well, I got a tie, I think, for favorite sports movie. My two favorite movies of all time are The Natural, Robert Redford, obviously, and Rocky. And I typically, they're my 1 and 2. I really try not to separate. They're like my 1 and 1A. I think Rocky's a better film. If you understand what I'm saying, it was a best picture. I think you got kind of the human interest story that maybe makes it a better film, so to speak. But The Natural is probably a little bit more of my favorite movie. It's very hard for me to separate, but clearly they're 1 and 2 in my world in some order.
Without a doubt, best sports movie is Major League. I mean, go down the list. Wesley Snipes, Willie Mays Hayes, Charlie Sheen. Come on, the Wild Thing coming out of the bullpen. It doesn't get any better than that. And my favorite, the key to a good sports movie is you have to have a good manager or coach. Lou Brown, a solid manager, solid coach, motivated the guys, kind of like a Charlie Manuel type style. But that is my guy right there. Favorite part of the movie, when Dorn, third baseman, is just missing grounder after grounder after grounder, won't get in front of it. Lou Brown comes up to him and comes right to him and says, listen, enough of that Olay bull crap, Dorn. Come on, you got to get in front of the ball.